the Comic-Con HQ series that's called Kings of Con, Richard Speight Jr. and Rob Benedict. Gentlemen, are you there?
We are here.
Hello.
Hello, Richard and Rob. Great to have you aboard. And Richard, we'll start with you, and then we're going to get right into some questions from a lot of your fans that are on our phone lines. And they've been waiting, actually, in some cases, for the last half hour. Richard, what made you and Rob decide it's time to expand your day job beyond Supernatural and do this series?
Well, Robbie and I have been doing conventions for Supernatural for a long time now, about 7 years. And that's actually how we met. We met on the convention circuit. And we realized quickly as we ended up taking the stage together a lot that we had not only sort of shared interests as people and as writers, but we had a very simpatico senses of humor. And we saw things through the same comedic lens and thought there would be a really fun opportunity to tell the wacky stories of the convention circuit in the form of a single-camera comedy. Because the truth of the matter is, as we realized on the road, the craziest people at any convention always the actors paid to be there. And we had a bird's eye view on what those cats were up to because we were two of those cats. So we decided to make a show about it.
Mm-hmm. Rob, what did you find out for yourself and Richard about being creator, like the folks in Supernatural? Was it anything you expected, or was a lot unexpected?
Well, it's definitely, there's a lot of responsibility when it's your own project. Rich and I have been working in the business for a while, and we've sort of gathered, secrets through the years, and we've gotten to know some people who've helped us out, and, we're finally in a position where we were comfortable making our own show. The work, there's a lot more work that goes into it, but it's a lot more gratifying because it's yours. It's your baby. And so, the funny part about it, though, we wrote it, we produced it, Richard directed it. And the funny part about it is, there's no one else to blame but yourself. When you find yourself in a situation where you're like, who wrote this scene? And then you realize, oh yeah, that's right, that's me. Or who can we get to fix this problem that we've got on set? Like, oh yeah, I'm the guy that has got to fix that. So there's definitely a lot more responsibility, but the payoff was great.
Mm-hmm. Richard, Aria from Minneapolis, Minnesota is in our chat room. Got a question for you. What is the most awkward scene you had to film for Kings of Con? And any funny stories attached with that?
Well, for me, Robbie will have his own answer to this. For me, it was definitely doing the scene, episode, it's called Burnsville. It's episode 5, and I work out with actor Matt Cohen, and can't use my arms, which then ends up putting me on the floor totally naked with only a glass of orange juice in the foreground covering up my schwanz. And I tell you, when you don't know a crew that well and you've got to strip down to your nothings and lay on the floor of a hotel, it starts to call into question all that you hold dear and all your principles as they go flying out the window. I had a gingerly placed tan cloth covering most of the real estate, but it didn't leave a lot to the imagination, so it was definitely a bonding moment for everyone. And a tough day of work for the guy who had to come in for one day and stare at me naked on the floor.
Not to mention the cameraman.
Oh, Mark was not happy.
All right, we're going to go right to the phones. If you have a question or comment, 646-652-2906. We're going to take as many calls as we can. And once we take your call, if you can jump off so you can hear, that'd be great. Let's go. Hello, you're on tomorrow. Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the line. What's your name? Yes, you're on.
Amber?
Amber, hi. Where are you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
Great to have you, Amber. You're on the line with Richard and Rob. Go ahead.
Hi, Rich. Hi, Rob. My name's Amber. Rob, I'm a huge fan of Loud and Swain, and you saved my life. But my question is, on episode 9, when you woke up and you found out you got married, what was your reaction? Like if that happened in real life, what would your reaction be?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the kind words. We, well, I know it's hard to imagine. I assume our reaction would be much like in the series. We would be probably a little baffled as to how this had happened and how we got so far off the rails.
I guess the good news is Robbie and I are not blackout drinkers in real life, so the odds of that happening are probably nil.
But it was fun to, experiment with that idea that these guys might have gotten too drunk and lost track of themselves and wound up somehow inexplicably married. but that was just a fun sort of idea to sort of explore.
All right. Thanks very much, Amber from Houston, Texas. Appreciate the call. We'll take another call, and then we'll take a chat room question. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the line. Yes, hi. Welcome. What's your name? Hello, you're on.
Hello?
Yes, hi. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Des from Kentucky.
Dennis, great to meet you. Simon Applebaum from Tomorrow Televised. You're on the air with Richard and Rob from Kings of Con. Go ahead.
Hey, I love you, Rob. Rich. I was wondering if you could do a musical episode. How would you go about doing a musical episode for Kings of Con?
Well, that is an interesting idea. You know, Robbie and I are bouncing around a lot of season 2 ideas, and that's one of them that we are entertaining, not committing to per se, but thinking about. I'm not exactly sure how we'd go about it, but one thing I know for sure is we have such great musical talent in the form of Loudon Swain that we would certainly have access to some really creative songwriting and could potentially have real fun with that. So we'll see if that actually comes to pass.
And it definitely seems like the characters we've created are the kind of people that might just break into song.
All righty. We have a chat room question from John Moore. Here it is. What was the scene that took the longest to film because everybody was cracking up?
Okay, well, we get that question a lot, and we didn't, unfortunately, we didn't have the luxury of time to make everything as relaxed as it might seem, which is good. We created the false illusion of a comfort zone. We weren't really giggling our way through the shoot, but I will tell you the most complicated scene to shoot, just from a technical standpoint, which may seem surprising, is the scene where Rob gets a styrofoam head of himself and ends up destroying it. And that was technically challenging because it was an enormous room with an enormous amount of actors in it, shot from both sides of the table and both sets of angles. So we had to move very quickly to get that story told and told right. And the result is one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. I find it hilarious. I think Kurt Fuller is just hilarious in that scene, and it's a great beat. So that was probably, just from a technical standpoint, one of our more challenging scenes.
And, another scene that comes to mind where people were kind of cracking up, although there were a lot of, like, when Rich would call cut, and then we'd let out the laughter. Like Rich said, everyone was pretty professional and good about keeping it in. But scene where Kent O'Grady in episode 4, he's shoveling his face with au gratin potatoes, and it's pretty grotesque. And everybody had to fight really hard to keep in the laughs.
If you have Roku or Apple TV, you can get Kings of Con on Comic-Con HQ, which is made possible in part by the wonderful folks at Lionsgate. We've got the creators and the co-stars of that series, Richard Speight Jr. and Rob Bennett. They're live from Los Angeles, half hour on Tomorrow Televised. They're also part of Supernatural, which is now its 12th season, every week on the CW. And if you have a question or comment for Richard and Rob, get it in, 646-652-3906, or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. The questions are coming in both ways. We really appreciate it. We'll try to get to as many as we can as time allows. And I hope you'll all be coming back on Wednesday, because joining me as our lead guest for our special Wednesday edition of the program will be none other than executive producer of 24 and 24 Legacy, premiering after the Super Bowl this Sunday on Fox, Manny Cotto. Manny and some of the people of both the front and behind the camera will be here in New York tonight for a special preview screening of the first episode, and I'll be there for that, and hope to meet Manny there as well. And in addition to Manny coming up this Wednesday on our program, we'll also have the producers behind a very unique animal miniseries coming on PBS Wednesday night. It's called Spy in the Wild, and it will give you maybe the most up-close look at animals you have ever seen because of a very unique process. And we'll hear about that process live from England with producers Philip Dalton and Matt Gordon. Again, Spy in the Wild is a miniseries in the award-winning Nature program on most PBS stations Wednesday night. And that's all coming up Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Join us then on Blog Talk Radio. Back to the chat room we go, and we got this question, which may be the most important question of the hour. Is there going to be a season 2? And is there anything that the fans, both in the live and the chat room, can do to make sure it happens?
Well, Robbie and I are in the cusp, in the final throes of trying to solidify a season 2. We're very optimistic. We can't make an official announcement yet, but we're hoping to be able to do so soon. And the best way to ensure that we get a season 2 is for people to go to ComicConHQ.com. That's comic-con conhq.com and watch the show and have their friends watch the show, because it's all about eyeballs. The more people watch it, the more people they notice. And the more people they notice, the more they'll want to make a second season. So go watch it. Make your friends watch it. Go to the website. Download the app. Do what you got to do.
Back to the phones we go. Hello, you're on tomorrow. Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Valerie. I'm calling from California.
Valerie, great to have you. Get on the line with Richard and Rob right now.
Okay. Hi, Richard. Hi, Rob.
Hey.
My question, sorry, I'm really nervous. I love you guys. My question is, once Supernatural ends, in like 20 years, do you guys think that there will be a Kings of Con?
When Supernatural ends, by the time that happens, I'm guessing I'll be dead. I feel like the show will go to the end of time. But that will. I don't think we're going to have to wait for for Supernatural to die to have a Kings of Con. I believe there will be a Kings of Con. I believe it will be royally themed. I believe Robbie and I will be heavily featured, and I believe it'll happen hopefully sooner than later. So we keep doing shows, we'll have a con for it, because Lord knows we know a thing or two about cons.
Here's a question from our chat room. I'm going to throw in my question with it, which is this. Did you learn anything new about each other when writing or filming your series? And secondly, what have you both learned about the whole Comic-Con, graphic novel convention, etc. scene while doing this? And by the way, we're now starting to see more Comic-Con coverage on television, in part thanks to a channel called Comic TV, which Sinclair, the largest station group in the country, is using multicast to get around the country.
The first part of your question, what we learned about each other. This whole process, it sort of stemmed, like Richard said earlier, it stemmed from the fact that we had similar senses of humor. We were good friends, and if anything, it just solidified the fact that we work well together. We think very similarly when it comes to creating things and when it comes to comedy. But specifically, this is Rob talking. What I learned while we were filming was what a good director Richard was. I mean, we wrote the series together, but we produced it together. But when it came to directing it, that's something where Richard really shines. He's a director as well, and so it was that at that point I gave the reins to him, and I think we both probably learned sort of figuring out our positions while shooting it, and just learned he's a great director, and that's not something that I necessarily aspire to be, and so I really respect that part of his art.
Well, thank you, Bobo. And the thing I learned, kind of what Rob was saying, is Robbie and I enjoyed a similar sense of humor on stage, but it's very different to improv with somebody and to goof around with somebody off the clock to putting on your business hat and try to craft a series and get serious about the business of making comedy. And what I realized is Robbie and I think very similarly in terms of our professional approach and what we think is the right answer to the questions of the story. I don't think there was ever a time where we didn't agree on something, meaning like if he wrote something that was the winner, the best beat always won, and it was not an ego-driven process. And that was great because I think then you get your best work out of each other, and you end up becoming each other's greatest allies, both when writing it and when performing it, because the inside secrets you're trying to get out to the audience.
And to answer the second question, I think it's remarkable how popular the whole convention industry has become, and specifically the comic convention industry and the comic world in general. And I think it's wonderful that Rich and I are always saying the term nerd it's just not accurate or applicable anymore. It's an old school term. We are all fans of something. We are all are knowledgeable about something, and I think it's great that we're living in a world now where that's celebrated. Which is you can see with all these conventions, it's a pretty normal thing. So we enjoy being a part of it.
Let's take another call. Hello, you're on tomorrow. Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go right ahead. What's your name?
My name is Sarah. and I'm calling from South Carolina.
Great to have you on. Go right ahead. Richard and Rob are listening to you.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. If you get season 2, how many seasons would you like to film in, the future? How many seasons would you like to film with Kings of Con?
Oh gosh, Robbie and I would do this until they drag us away kicking and screaming. I mean, for us, it's sort of the penultimate achievement to be able to tell your own stories in your own voice with your buddies, which is what we did. Robbie and I were able to tell the stories we wanted to tell the jokes we wanted to tell, and we brought in the talents of friends with whom we've worked or hung out for years. It was a perfect storm for us. We had a great crew, great cast. We had great support from Comic-Con and from Lionsgate without them really actually getting their hands too dirty with it. I mean, it was great. It was a perfect balance of their involvement and their impact in terms of the strength of their distribution arm and their publicity without them trying to make the story something that it wasn't. They let Rob and me do what they hired us to do, which was great. So if that recipe continues, Robbie and I will keep making this show as long as they'll let us.
Richard Speed Jr. and Rob Benedict from Kings of Con on Comic-Con HQ, available on smart devices, Roku and Apple TV. They're with us live from Los Angeles this half hour on Tomorrow Be Televised. And thank you all for being with us, both in the chat room and also on the phones. Thanks for staying up and being patient. Hang in there. We're trying to get to as many questions as we can before the top of the hour. Simon Applebaum with you live from New York on Blog Talk Radio. Great to have you with us. We have a program all about television. We're normally with you Mondays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, Near Pacific. If you like what we're doing today, make sure we're happy. Join us and check out our previous episodes. You can do that on our homepage, blogtalkradio.com/televised. We've had people from shows like One Day at a Time at Netflix. We just had Lizzie Weiss from Switched at Birth. On Wednesday, we've got live Manny Cotto from 24 and 24 Legacy, the executive producer of both those shows. I mentioned 24 Legacy premieres at the Super Bowl this Sunday night at Fox. And coming up 1 week from today on the program, among our guests, we'll have from Comedy Central's new series, The Traitors, executive producer and writer Zach Kanan. That's all coming up next Wednesday and next Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, New Pacific, right here on Blog Talk Radio. Don't forget, you can also check us out anytime on podcast. We're available on iTunes, and if you have Apple TV, you can check us out along with other Blog Talk Radio shows on the iTunes podcast app. If you don't have Apple TV, go to your local Apple store or order it online. And if you have us on iTunes, please feel free to take us on the go, download it to your smartphone, tablet, share it with others. We do appreciate it. And the best bet, be with us live. The show is better as you hear when you are. Let's go to another chat room question, and I'll throw something in as well. And I'll lead David this to us, which is, have you already started working about Season 2? And also, what themes would you like to cover in Season 2 that you didn't do this time around?
Well, we have started diving into Season 2 and breaking stories, and we'll see. I mean, I don't really necessarily want to touch on anything specifically because it may change as the process moves forward, but we're having a lot of fun and coming up with a lot of great ideas.
The great thing about continuing to do conventions, which we do, is we keep amassing all these great behind-the-scenes stories. So there's lots of stories to tell that involve not only the characters of Rob and Rich, but their crazy entourage as well.
Rob, and then I'll ask Richard, and then we'll get to another call or two before we wrap. What keeps you both on Supernatural? I mean, this has been an amazing success story for the CW. 12 seasons, 13 already set to go for the fall. What has you and the stars and Eric Kripke, the executive producer and creator, what has everybody still going strong with this series? What is the spirit like?
Well, it really it all comes down to the fan base. I mean, this is a show that was birthed in right as social media was taking off, and the fans are able to sort of speak online in different social media platforms, and the network and the producers are listening. And this fan base for this show in particular is just unbelievable in their loyalty and devotion and love for the show, and it's really remarkable. It's kept the show going, and it's kept the writers and the producers and the actors from trying to give 100% top-notch work. I was fortunate enough to go back on the show last season, and it's just nobody's phoning it in. Everyone's still giving 110% because they know they're listening to the fans. They know how much it means to the fans, and I think that motivates us, that inspires us to make the best TV show we can.
I want to, by the way, welcome Gazelle Lopez and Creative Cookie 312 or 31115 in the chat room. Let's see if we can get at least one or two more calls in, maybe another chat room call in before the top of the hour. Let's try this line. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
What?
Hi there, Simon Applebaum from Tomorrow Televised. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Me?
Lehigh, where are you from?
I'm gonna go. Bye.
Oh, she panicked.
Okay, sorry, Lee.
That's
There we
all
go.
right.
Let's try another call. Hello, Simon Applebaum from Tomorrow Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, go ahead.
Hello.
All right. I'm sorry. There we go. Let me hang up 1 second. Now you're on. Okay, what's your name? Hi, go ahead. Go, go, go. Going once, twice.
Yeah, that's you.
I heard a laugh.
You
It's you.
All right, let's try one more. Let's see we go. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Brianna from Tarpon, Florida.
Real good to have you. Go right ahead. Go with your question for Richard and Rob.
This is so nerve-wracking.
It's all right. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah. We're all friends here. Go ahead. Okay, don't worry. I'm sorry. Go. Let me get you back on the line here. We had a little bit of a delay. All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes. All right, you're on.
Okay, perfect. Oh, my God. Okay, my question is, how hard was it to play an altered version of yourselves? And I just want to say, Rob, I love Loud and Swain so much. And, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was actually kind of fun and freeing to do, to be honest. Just so many of the things that these characters do are not quite things that we would do, but they're inspired by nuggets of reality. Most of the show is completely fictional, but it was fun to do. To sort of we're blowing ourselves up. We're playing characterized versions of ourselves. So it's we're really we're the butt of the jokes, and it's kind of fun to do. We kind of like making fun of ourselves. It's fun for us.
Yeah, we took a page from the Louis C.K. and Larry David model, and it really enabled us to take some snippets of reality and run it through the what-if machine and come up with alternate realities that, TV Rob and Rich would do that have, like, maybe a tiny toe still in reality, but are basically comedic versions of the decision-making process that Rob and I actually go through.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take one more question. It's from our chat room from Sky in Texas. And that person, Sky, is wondering, what was the perfect one to end the segment on. What was the best friendship moment you had filming Kings of Con?
Best friendship moment. I think there's a lot that we could go through, and Robbie will probably have a different answer. But I remember there was a party that was thrown by Comic-Con HQ to sort of celebrate the launch of their platform. And at one point, Robbie and I were on the red carpet on either side of Mark Hamill, and we kind of looked at each other and thought, "Yep, it worked." I mean, because it's a long process from two guys in a hotel lobby talking about, "Hey, maybe we can make a show out of this," to shooting the teaser, to selling the teaser, to getting the money, to finding the network, to getting the crowdfunding campaign going, which we did and got the support of the fabulous Supernatural fans, to actually finding the crew, to getting the cast, to shooting the show, posting it, to getting it launched, and then find yourself on the red carpet talking about it with one of the biggest stars in the history of cinema. It was a pretty awesome place to have a knowing wink and nod with each other. Here's Robbie.
Yeah, I mean that was a great moment. The thing that came to mind when I heard the question was when we were shooting the scene in episode 9, where sort of at the end of the marriage episode, we're having a real bro-to-bro talk, and I remember just being a really good day and felt good about the scene, and it felt like a very real moment that very well could have been taken from the page of a real Rob and Rich conversation, and there were some pictures from that day on set, too, that I felt like were very characteristic of sort of what our friendship is and what we sort of mean to each other.
Mm-hmm. Before we think about it, Richard and Rob, I want to thank all the callers, all the chat room people who joined us for this last 25 minutes or so. If we couldn't get to your question either way, we apologize. But the important thing is to know is this is what makes a show like this work and Blog Talk Radio work, is you being involved both with your phone calls and with your chat room questions and reactions. So it's deeply appreciated, and I hope you will make us a regular habit here on Tomorrow Be Televised. If it works here, it can work any episode we do. And we got some wonderful people coming your way in the weeks ahead on this program all about television. So thank each and every one of you that took the time today, this Monday afternoon, to be with us either by phone or chat room. The program is Kings of Con. You can find it at Comic-Con HQ on smart devices, Roku, and Apple TV, and hopefully a second season is coming soon. For more details about not only Kings of Con, but all the programs you can find on that channel, which is co-produced by Lionsgate, here's where you go on the web, www.comic-conhq.com. That's www.comic-hq.com. And don't forget, you can find Richard and Rob and all the rest of the crew on Supernatural every week in prime time on the CW. For more details online, you can go to cwtv.com, and don't forget, check your local listings for where Supernatural plays in your area on the CW TV station near you. Richard Speight Jr., Rob Bannock, thank you both very much for coming on. Hopefully a second season of Kings of Con coming your way. All the best with that. Hopefully many seasons to come, and also all the best with Supernatural. Congratulations on 12 great seasons on the CW, 13 coming up this fall, and many, many more ahead.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us. We look forward to coming back and talking about season 2.
Thanks, Simon. We appreciate it.
You got it, Rich, Rob, anytime. All the greatest. Take care.